Building. Back in the building. What's good, y'all? I changed my account name, or at least the username, to Cinco Live because high key on this account, I go live a lot, and I feel like it's easier for me to not only reach people, but also just honestly flow without really giving two fucks that much, and just talking about the things that's on my mind. So before I got off of work, I was watching a vlog by a YouTuber trying to do right, and his videos be funny as hell, and I like how he makes his videos very cinematic, even though it's a vlog. When I was watching the video he had 3 years ago, I heard like a ring in my right ear. And for those who don't know, when you hear a ring in your ear, it's like a phone call. It's a spirit or ancestor is calling you. It can be an ancestor from the outside of you, or a spirit on the outside, or it could be a spirit inside of you. So I paused for a minute. I heard nothing. Then I got on my phone, checked Facebook, went on Instagram for a little bit, got off work, got in the car, and I looked up in the sky. And because we have chemtrails everywhere, it made me think about the severe weather changes that's been going on. This is why I named the live, can you handle, or can you, I don't know what I put as it, but something to do with the weather, god damn it. Can you handle the weather, basically? And I have a theory for why the South is going through so many weather conditions that hasn't been shown in many years. Because for something to happen once every 10, 15, or once every 5 years, it has significance. It's like the same thing with presidential elections. You know what I'm saying? When it happens, something changes. Something different. And I personally went through a snow day back like 2 days ago. I don't know what P-Line is talking about. If you're here right now, like the live. I don't care if you want to troll or not, just like the live. I'd appreciate that. And if you say something that's actually worth engaging, I'll talk to you. But if not, then I'm gonna just keep talking about what I'm talking about. So, Florida, Georgia, I think New Orleans, I don't know for sure, maybe even Texas, had snow within the past 2-3 weeks, right? What's good, Alien? What's good, P-Land? Make sure y'all like the live as well. Please like the live. Snow's been hitting the South like a lot. And y'all gotta think about this, like being logical. The more south you go, the closer you are to the equator. Now, I do remember, like, I think last year or even the year before, on both occasions, it was snowing in Africa. When severe weather changes happen, I feel like it's like nature testing our resolve. What's good, everybody that's joining the live? I feel like nature is testing our resolve as human beings when we go through severe weather. Like, for instance, one time in high school, I walked, I walked like 3 or 4, maybe 5 miles. It was a long walk. I walked like 4 or 5 miles from school to home with no umbrella. All I had was my jacket, but my jacket didn't have a hood. And I think I had like low hair. It wasn't a lot of hair like this, but I had a low amount of hair. And shout outs to Iran. I had a low amount of hair, and I felt almost every raindrop, whether it stormed, whether it drizzled, I was there for it. And during that whole time, even as a younger age, I have like a stronger mental capacity where I don't necessarily let shit bother me to the point where I want to crash out because of what's happening outside of me. Now, during the weather 2 days ago, I saw so many people crash out on the road simply because they were slamming their brakes while on the ice. Like, for instance, I'm driving right now. I'm only going 30 miles per hour. If I was on ice and I slam my brakes, I'm going to skirt a little bit. And I saw people trying to move, and they're slamming on their brakes as soon as they feel some type of ice, and they skirt all the way. I saw a car hit another car. It wasn't like a huge wreck or nothing, but I just saw people not have the ability to adjust. And then secondly, I had my mom's drive because I use her car to go to and from work, and I pick her up until I get my car back. And she's on the phone with her friend from the job she works at, and she's on the phone crashing out, like, bruh, like, she's yelling, she's screaming, she doing all of that. I couldn't take it. I put on my headphones, lean my chair back, and just played some some chakra frequencies to balance my whole shit out, because it was bothering me. Because one thing is more annoying than like life be lifing, but then somebody complaining about lifing. Like, that shit is that should be annoying. Like, this is crazy. So I honestly feel like nature tests us through not only, natural disasters, but weather changes. And I never understood, like, this is a question I'm gonna ask myself now. The weather. We understand that the government influences the weather here and there. This is why Kodak got cloned and shit. And we also understand some of these telephone poles, well, some people may not, but some of these telephone poles that we see in life, like the tall ones that has the little panels on it, those telephone poles hold crystals, just like our phones do when they interact with the weather. They can cause changes simply due to frequencies. If a clear sky represents a clear mind, cloudy skies represents a clouded mind, what does a snow day represent to the mind? What does a snow day represent to the subconscious? Like, I don't think I've thought of that before. What does a snow day represent to the subconscious? Because you get two mixed emotions on a snow day. You get, you get like comfort, because if you're sitting in the house and you're seeing snow come down, it provides a sense of comfort to you, just like how people can find comfort in hearing the rain outside while they're at home. When you're inside on a snow day, you feel like you're blanketed, you're covered, you're nurtured in a way. But when you're outside in snow, it's more of like you appreciate the scenery, but you also are smothered at the same time. So that makes me think, would we consider a snow day on the subconscious level? For those who are listening right now, would you consider a snow day like a subconscious blanket that's maybe cold, but yet it provides warmth, like an internal warmth? Somebody said Muzu the mad sticky glue. I don't know what that means. That really makes me think about that, because let's even get deeper. If we saying snow represents like a warm or cold blanket to a very hot body, because our bodies are 90 some percent or now over 90 degrees internally, a cold blanket will kind of balance us out a little bit for those who are always overheated. Because a lot of people have a lot of traumatic responses to things that cause them to heat up, cause them to get angry. And because of that anger and that tenseness, sometimes you need to drink cold water or have an iced tea or drink a cold Sprite Some people have many different coping mechanisms to help cleanse or calm down their heated selves. So what if that's what the weather does when it snows? Okay, now, what subconscious, what other subconscious pickups do we get for when, like, weather that's like hail? Like, I'm from Chicago. When it's hailing, bro, that shit is dangerous. That shit feel dangerous, I ain't gonna lie. And what does hail represent to the subconscious mind or the subconscious body? If you're here right now, you can answer the question too. You don't have to just sit and watch. Please like the video too. Hail. If it's hailing outside, you feel attacked by your own nature. How does that make sense for those who's listening? So our body is what's connected to nature because we can interact with life with our body. Our mind is the encompassing observer of our life. Our body is the actor, playing out all the actions that we want to do, and our mind helps us triangulate the pros and cons, the possibilities, the scenarios of our reality. So everything that's outside of us is a representation of what's projected already inside of us. So on a clear day like this, even though we got clouds and down, what's the names right now? What is it called? Not GMO. I don't know. They're just spraying shit in the sky. You know what that is. A clear day to the subconscious mind, we know. You get clairvoyance, you feel clear, you feel clarity, you feel open, you feel wise, you feel strong, you feel intuitive. A snow day represents you feeling blanketed, you feeling covered, you feeling protected, you feeling also smothered at the same time. So it all depends on your perspective. Like, for instance, I saw a video today of a guy who was going down a mountain skiing, and he saw a guy that was like, who was in the snow. He was buried in the snow, at least 6 to 7 feet in the snow. The only thing the skier saw was the snowboard. Imagine you skiing and all you see is a snowboard upside down with feet attached to it. This man turned around, took off his skis, and helped pull them out. That was crazy. And some people are stuck in their life like that, where they feel upside down but don't recognize what they can do to get out of it, because they may have not appreciated the people that can help them. They may have done certain things that led them to that situation on their own. You know, there's so many different variables to that. The subconscious mind, when it rains, it's like, it's a day that represents chaos. Rain represents chaos. However, this chaos is in a form of, it's like miniature chaos. Because you got to think about it, there's so many different type of rainy days. You got stormy raining, you got drizzle raining, and you got like the big ass drops of rain. You know what I'm saying? And then in Georgia, you get pockets of rain. So for instance, I could be on one road and it's cool, but then we see a cloud 10 minutes down, and that cloud is just raining on that one spot. And that one spot is like a 10-minute radius around it. It's like that for some reason in Georgia. It's probably like that in other places too. I just been living in Georgia for the past decade, so that's the most I can remember. So that makes me think then, like, if there's different types of snow days, the different type of rainy days, these days affect the subconscious on many different levels. Holy shit, hold up. That shit is crazy. I was watching a video with my brother Q Reeves, and he was talking about how 80% of our world is covered in clouds. That means we only necessarily get 20% of clairvoyance when it comes to our own self. And if you know how to dial into the rest of the 80%, Rather it's half of that, a quarter of that, 3/4 of that, 2/3, 1/3, whatever. If you can tap into the rest of your clouded 80%, you know how to be the calm in your storm. You could be the peace in your clouded reality. You could find the gem that you need to fucking see. That's actually wild. Like that's whoa. Like my whole mind just kind of like hit one of those like If you ever took shrooms before, you know when the shroom starts to actually hit and like you feel like you're floating backwards, but you're still at the same time. That's what I just had right now. I just had that moment. The weather is the mother or the emotions of the planet. Simply put it, we call it Mother Nature, right? We call it planet Earth. The weather is a representation of the emotions of planet Earth. Now the problem is a lot of the emotions that planet Earth feels is not natural to planet Earth. A lot of things are on this planet are man-made. This phone, this car, these clothes, even though they were made from organic material, the material was then alchemized to match whatever man or even woman, it still has the man in essence in it to do whatever the purpose is needed for it. Now, I personally believe the original source, the highest form of consciousness, is a combined masculine and feminine perspective, but it's more of a feminine energy. It's more of a feminine energy, meaning like it wants to create and have chaos. However, it has the ability to have structure. But creation, operation, or generation, operating, and destroying is the nature of the highest form of consciousness. And when we think about it as human beings, when we are only focused on ourselves and we only focus on our center of reality, we are our own highest form of consciousness until we recognize that there's more to it than just this body. And there's more to it than just what we've experienced. And that there's more to it than just our emotions. There's more to it than just our thoughts. There's more to it than many things that we've encountered with. It's actually wild. It's actually wild. It's actually wild. Damn, bro. Damn, bro. I'm having like a real wow moment, because if you're watching this, go back a little bit. Like, there's so much subconscious things that happen when it comes to the weather, to our body. Like, for instance, there are people who have had a very traumatic experience in a certain weather. Like, for instance, say for instance you got into a bad accident when it was thunderstorming outside. Now every time you are driving through a thunderstorm, you don't want to drive because of that accident. You tense up because of that accident. You actually be more fearful in that car than you would naturally. For people that live in Georgia, when it snows, it's a lot of people that go through traumatic shit, because I see it in people and how they drive and how they operate their vehicle. They dead ass start crashing out. They feel like they have no control over their vehicle because they essentially have no control of finding a pace or finding a groove in their reality. And that's not to say they don't entirely, of course not. However, there's an attribute that every human being has, and that attribute is called adjusting. How well can you adjust in what's going on in your life? And some people don't have a great adjustment gene simply because of what they have experienced, or how often have they experienced. Like, for instance, some people that know how to bag a bag of weed or something like that can adjust in eyeballing it compared to scaling it. And since they've been doing it for years. Some people can adjust for driving in a car and it's hella traffic. they can adjust with driving in the back roads compared to, you know what I'm saying, continue to stay on the highway. Some people who drove in severe weather know how to adjust in that severe weather because they've been in it so many times, they know what to do. And here's the even crazier part. People know how to adjust in these crazy moments in their life simply because they have the ability to listen to their ancestors. Your ancestors have experienced things that you have already had. Like, they've had the same experience you've had already, and then some. So when you're able and willing to adjust in whatever you're going through and it's hard, they're going to like give you the key, the push that you need. It's kind of like you're driving and playing Mario Kart and you get the star and you're in 6th place. Like even make it more and more wild. Let's say you get the star and you're in freaking 15th place, and then you able to work your way up to 6. That boost was like your ancestors giving you the key to boost yourself up. Now you got to work hard from there. So it's the same thing with weather. Weather can give you a chance to not only connect with your ancestors, but it gives you a chance to adjust in your life where you need adjustments. I've made greater adjustments in my life within the past 2 weeks simply because I've been able to be willing to change my room around, my bedroom around, change my house around, change my energy around. Because of the snow days that's been happening here. We've had 2 valid snow days, and each time it snowed, I've had at least a day or 2 off. And I've used them days to my maximum capacity, for sure. So, I'm glad that I was patient enough to figure out what was it I needed to speak on today. Because I knew it was something I needed to talk about, but I really didn't know what. And, you know, the universe, God works in very mysterious ways. So I'm grateful to have explained it. Thankful to those who came through. Nobody liked the video, but it's okay. It's not going to be perfect every time, but I appreciate the time that I do come up here and people rock with it. So I'm going to start posting these links to these videos on these lives on my Facebook and my TikTok. No, not Facebook. And my Facebook, my Twitter, even on my Instagram story. So if you want to vibe to it, thank you. Thank you for being here. Peace.